Hello, listeners. I'm Nagaraj Anaya, realtor, joined by the insurance expert Subrata Sa. Today, we know that heavy rains are impacting a Bay Area. Be watchful and safe out there. If your house in the flood zone, watch out for the news, and be prepared for the heavy rainstorms which is going around. Hi, Subrata. Thanks for joining in. We would like to know what insurance will cover as a life-threatening bomb cyclone is going to impact the Bay Area. As in what kind of insurances we need to shop around?
Mhm. Okay, sure. Thank you, Nagraj, for having me on your show. For the listeners, my name is Subrata Saha. I am a farmer's insurance agent. My agency does all types of insurance, be it your home, auto, business, and life. But today, as timely as it can be, there's a lot of rain happening for the last few days in the Bay Area. So we want to talk about what is the difference between your typical homeowner's insurance versus a flood insurance, and in what situation you should consider a flood insurance separately versus your home insurance, right?
Yes.
So
before jumping into a flood insurance, right? First, let's talk about if you don't have a flood insurance, what is a regular insurance covers if the water or the water enters your property or damages your property. Then we can talk about in the real estate transaction. When do you decide the flood insurance is needed?
Yes. So that's a very good question. Before even considering flood, there can be water damages in your home. So
Correct.
Be it there is a sewage problem in a home, and the water clogging that pushes water from, let's say, from the washer
I'll
or
give
from
you one
dishwasher.
example. Last week, one of my client gave me a call. His friend, a water pipe burst out in the middle of the night, and by no time, full house was at 3 feet of water around the house.
Yes.
So in that case, what does the insurance covers?
So that's an excellent situation to talk about. So depending on which is your insurance provider, you should always check whether the policy has coverage for sewage, drain and sewage. So typically that is a separate coverage that you need to add to your homeowner's insurance. For example, farmers, we always tell our clients that, hey, do you have any concern about your sewage or drain system that you have? Then we recommend that you add some kind of a coverage on top of your home insurance, right? So if your home insurance doesn't have that by default coverage, you should always add that as a supplement, and it costs very little compared to what a damage can be for a situation like that.
Okay. So basically you should look at the insurance, and depending on the insurance after you claim, what are the steps? For example, you found out there's a damage in your house. What are the steps involved in this case? Like, you first need to raise a claim, then the inspector comes and checks. How does this process works for this?
Yeah, excellent question. So, first of all, you check what is the level of damage that has been caused by the incident, right?
Right.
Now, quickly check your declaration pages of your insurance coverage, and if you see that the sewage and drain is included, then you can check what is the deductible that you have, for that coverage. So typically, the deductibles can be 500 to 5,000 to 10,000. Right.
Okay.
Now you can have a fairly high level idea the damage that has happened, whether it would cost me around 1,000 or around 10,000. Right.
Okay.
So then you make a fair high level calculation. Okay, now if my deductible is 500 or 1,000, then it makes very much sense for me to file a claim and get that repaired. But irrespective, I always recommend that you file a claim and then let the insurance company, let the investigation happen, and we try our best that if there is incident like that, we try our best to cover those cover those costs. So first step is that get it filed, and automatically farmers will assign an inspector who would call you, just find out high level details, and then start the claim process.
Okay. Now, this is in the regular cases. Now let's assume the water enters during the flood time. what does the
Yes.
typical insurance without a flood insurance covers now? Does
Okay.
it cover the water damage from the flood or not? By if you're having a typical regular insurance, home
Okay.
insurance.
So homeowners insurance will cover the typical risks that we have, like for example, theft, rain damage, a tree falls on the house and things like that. So there are two situations. Flood happens from rain, right? So there
Correct.
is a heavy rain, and that damages my windows, or that damages my walls outside of my home. That will be covered by home insurance.
Okay.
However, if there is a sudden rain for 48 hours or 24 hours, and there is flood water coming from the street entering into my basement or entering into my drainage, and that pushes the water into my home, and it destroys the carpeting or my floor,
Okay.
those damages will not be covered by a homeowner's insurance, because that has not been caused by rain. It has been caused by flood, which is extra water that clogs and stays in your home, right?
Okay.
So in that case, the flood insurance will kick in, and you should always consider, where is my home, where is my precautionary, have I kept my home, like the first steps, have I kept everything clean, so that if there is a water from outside, it goes out, there's a drainage system automatically goes out, right?
Okay.
If not, even for certain homes in some locations in the Bay Area, your mortgage company, you should check with the mortgage company, like you already know, since you do both mortgage and home.
Yeah.
That
I think just hold on for it. See,
yeah,
this is like the one thing you told me. If the street water enters due to a flood, that is not covered.
that
Correct.
is not covered by
So
homeowners insurance. Yes.
that is not covered. But if the damages caused by the rain, for example, the trees falling on your house, or that parts are covered from the insurance, correct? And the
Yes.
rain
Yes.
water enters from the tree damage, that's covered.
That's covered, yes.
Okay.
And again, however, the rain and the flood are critical situations. Again, you should always file a claim, but very, very, to keep it simple, just think of it as extra water coming out from rain from outside is called flood.
Correct.
That will never be covered by your homeowner's insurance. So depending on where your home is, if it is in a flood zone, then your mortgage will automatically require you to buy an extra flood coverage.
Yeah, coming to the flood insurance right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think, see, in the real estate, whenever you're purchasing a property, there's always called a national hazard disclosure. Okay.
Yes.
In the national hazard disclosure, it says the property is in the flood zone. Okay. So depending on the national hazard disclosure, you go for a flood insurance is required or not. Okay. Now, assume your property is in the flood zone. Okay. And you have bought a flood insurance, right? So then does it cover the water entering into the property?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Then, if it is already in a flood zone, if your mortgage has determined that you need a flood insurance coverage added to your homeowner's insurance, then everything is covered. As just make sure that your limits are enough. Your limits of coverage is enough, and your bank and your mortgage company will tell you how much coverage you need. So then you are covered. Then you don't have to worry about any flood damage in your home.
Okay, so let's assume, because see, for example, the fire also, right? Fire zones also, right? I see that every year the California determines, or the state determines where is your house is located, is in the fire zone or not fire zone. And for example, for some reasons, today or like in few months back, your property has changed it to the flood zone, right? And you think the water is going to come into your house now. And if I take the flood insurance, maybe 2 days back or 3 days back, does it going to cover or no, right? Will it be covering it?
Well, it's that is a bit tricky. I'll give you one example. Like you help me buy our home in Dublin. So my home is not in a flood zone, right? However, this is a year where I think we haven't seen a rain like this before. Now I'll think about whether I should get and I have seen some water flow outside and all that. It's not coming inside my home, but to be safe, I might consider to get a flood insurance from next year onwards. right?
Okay.
So in that situation, depending on what my experience is, I keep my drainage and everything clear. I know that there will not be any, flood
Clogs.
outside, clogging or any flood happening. But it is up to me that how much safe I want to keep my home. Like, for example,
Okay.
if this is the trend that continues for the next, 5-10 years, I would rather buy a flood insurance coverage separately.
Okay. So
Right?
as if it's not part of the NHD, if the NHD doesn't says that I don't need a flood insurance, you're still welcome to buy a flood insurance, right?
Yes, absolutely. So then you're not bound to buy unless your home is in a flood zone, but it is good to have, based on your understanding, based on whatever is happening in the Bay Area, you have the option, you
Yeah,
have the
because
choice to buy.
if you're staying in that area, you know what's happening. For example, you
Yes.
stayed in there for one, because I stay in Santa Clara. I know that my streets are not water around in the streets. I think it's a safer. But if you're staying somewhere where it's like, there's more water around in the streets, right? Then it's better thing to look for it. As a homeowner, before the rain, make sure you check your gutters and there is no clogs around the drainage system. I think that's one of the thing I can surely tell to the homeowners. If you're an homeowners, make sure there's no clogs around the property, so that you are ready before the rains are coming in.
Yes, particularly if you have a basement, just make sure, even if it bothers you, just if it's raining all night, it is better to keep an alarm and go and check in the middle of the night, whatever is happening. Just be safe.
I think that's a well point you told me, right? The first case, what we were considering, the water damages or like water pipe burst, right? I think in that cases, it's better to have sensors. The technologies also can be one of the helpful resource. Like you can put a sensors around the house. So anytime it detects the water, it can go and turn off your main water valves. Okay.
Yes.
Or it can be one of the things also, it can send you an alert. For example, yesterday, due to heavy rains from somewhere from the roof, there was a water drips happening, and you have not noticed, correct? But having the sensors around the house, it can give you an alert, correct? Does the insurance helps having this kind of reduce your payments by having this kind of tools, or like how is it?
I was about to tell you that you brought an excellent point. When you have sensors like that, like it's almost like a smart home, right?
Correct.
If you have those devices in your home, you should always check with your insurance agent or insurance company. Like, for example, farmers, we always provide additional discount when you have those features in your home. So excellent point. And the moment you have more safety features in your home, not only for water. Let's say you have an extra alarm, you have fire alarm, you have burglar alarm and things like that. So farmers provides discount for each and every safety component that you incorporate in your house.
Okay, that's excellent. Anything else you want to add, Subrata, on this insurance part?
Yeah, I think just to reiterate, just like flood, you mentioned the fire zone. So if many times we have seen enough fire in California. So California Fair Plan provides fire hazard insurance on top of the homeowners, right? So not every kind of fire is covered. Not every kind of flood or rain damage is covered by homeowners. So you can always consider the supplemental insurance coverages. And if you have any question anytime regarding homeowners or any type of insurance, you can always call me and call my office 650-649-8954, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
One last question before letting you out. So, for example, is it too late, expecting the rains around another couple of weeks? Is it too late to buy the flood insurance?
Well, it is not. But then when the flood insurance is kicking off matters, right? For example, so tonight is expected to be a stormy night in the Bay Area, at least in Dublin. I'm not sure what's happening outside of Tri Valley, right? So if I had purchased my flood insurance today and it's already active and something happens in the next 1 week, then I think there are high chances that will be covered. But again, irrespective, don't worry about, as long as you have the insurance, as long as you have an active coverage, don't worry about when and what. Just talk to your insurance agent, file a claim, and the insurance company, I hope if it's a good insurance company, they should be able to take care of it. If not, contact me. Farmers is good at, filing, having,
I
taking
think
care
it's
of
a well
claims.
said. It never is too late, but
Yes.
talk to your experts. Okay, experts, depending on your case by case, they can advise. It's never is too late. Talk to you. How is it like for you? Like, are you getting more calls on the flood insurance from last couple of days, or how is it, Subrata?
So not only flood, yes, definitely flood. I'm getting even from new homeowners. Some of the homeowners that we have common clients that you referred. Even the new home buyers are asking for inquiring about flood insurance.
Okay.
And last 6 months, the trend has been, my clients are asking for earthquake insurance, flood insurance, and fire insurance. Like we have seen every other thing happening in the Bay Area in California. So it's better to be safe. It's never too late. Just ask, and we are there to help.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Subrata, to giving your insights onto the insurance, and we'll join you soon on the new topics. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nagraj.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Be safe.